Last week, Bills fans got excited as the Bills clinched the AFC East for the first time in 25 years. But there's still plenty more to play for when it comes to Monday Night Football. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Billievers Talk. My name is Joe, and welcome to this preview edition of Billievers Talk, where we preview the game tonight between our Buffalo Bills and the New England Patriots. Again, guys, thank you for joining me. My name is Joe. If you're new to this channel, guys, please be sure to subscribe for continual Buffalo Bills and Buffalo sports coverage. As the playoffs get closer, I'll have you covered. Also, make sure you, as you're here, you hit that thumbs up button, like this video, and leave a comment. Let me know what your keys to victory are for tonight's Monday Night Football game against the New England Patriots. So I'm really looking forward to this game, and for Bills fans who might be wondering, who don't know, who haven't heard the rumors, they are true. If the Buffalo Bills win this game, they'll again move up to the number 2 seed. With the Steelers win over the Indianapolis Colts, currently they're half game up on the Buffalo Bills, but since the Bills beat the Steelers just 2 weeks ago, then the Buffalo Bills have that tiebreaker with them. So if they beat the Steelers, if they beat the Patriots tonight, they then are the number 2 seed going into Week 17. Only 2 games left for our Buffalo Bills, and that includes the game tonight against the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots come into this game 6-8. Now we know the Patriots will not make the playoffs for the first time since 2011. It's been a long time since the Patriots have not been in the playoffs. But the Buffalo Bills, we also know they're going to win the AFC East, or they've won the AFC East for the first time in 25 years. But don't think just because those two things are settled that the Patriots are going to lay down for the Buffalo Bills. I don't see that happening. Now, it seemed like the New England Patriots had a hard time last week against the Dolphins getting things going, but I don't see that being an issue here 2 weeks in a row. If you watched my prediction video earlier this week, you saw that I don't think the Bills are going to beat the spread in this game. Remember the Week 8 matchup, a matchup the Buffalo Bills won in Buffalo 24-21. Basically solely running the football. Now in this game, we have a little bit of an edge because Stephon Gilmore is not going to be playing in this game. They're all pro cornerbacks. So we might see a little bit more of Stephon Diggs. Josh Allen has been on absolute fire recently. The last 4 or 5 games looked really sharp when he's needed to the most. Still has some issues with those turnovers. We'll talk about that as well. But man, he's looked really good as of late. And of course, Stephon Diggs, now the team leader in history in receptions, looking to get even more, obviously looking to get some yards attached to that as well. I think he currently leads the NFL in receptions still, so he'll just be adding to that mark tonight as they play the New England Patriots. So some of my keys to victory, I look back at that Week 8 matchup. Again, the Buffalo Bills winning that one 24-21. You'll all remember that was the game where Cam Newton fumbled inside the 5-yard line as the Patriots were driving for the game go-ahead touchdown, or at least the game-tying field goal. Zimmer with the huge swat of the ball, knocked it out of his hands. I believe it was either Milano or another linebacker who recovered the ball and gave the Buffalo Bills victory. A very emotional time here as I give you a live play-by-play and reaction. Make sure you join me for the first half tonight, play-by-play and reaction of the game between our Buffalo Bills and the Patriots. Again, due to work schedules, I cannot stay for the whole game, but still will give you play-by-play reaction to the first half, and we can have some fun talking about the now 2020 AFC champion Buffalo Bills. But some of my keys to victory for this game, like I said, I go back to that Week 8 matchup. Listen, we cannot let Damien Harris get going again, okay? Damien Harris in that Week 1 matchup, over 100 rushing yards. In fact, New England as a whole had over 200 rushing yards against us. Now listen, we did a great job running the ball ourselves in that game, but we cannot allow the Patriots to get that running game going. They get that confidence going. Listen, Cam Newton is a very confident quarterback. When he plays with confidence, he's going to be tough to beat. If you knock him down early, then he tends to make a few more mistakes. He tends to not feel that confidence, and it shows on the field. So don't let Cam Newton, don't let Damien Harris get going in the running game, and you might make this New England Patriots team one-dimensional. And I feel like our secondary will do a good job against the New England Patriots receivers. Speaking of the New England Patriots receivers and going into my second key to victory, if we stop that run game, right? If we stop the run attack and we make them one-dimensional, there's only one player in that receiving core that really had himself a day against Buffalo in Week 8. That's Jacoby Myers. And that's probably the number one receiver for the New England Patriots so far this season. Jacoby Myers in that last game against the Buffalo Bills, like I said, had a pretty good day. Now, overall, the secondary did a good job stopping the New England Patriots, but he had 6 catches for 58 yards. And it just seemed like he got a lot of third down conversions and a lot of key catches for those Patriots to keep them in that game. And I don't want to see them in this game. I would love to see the Buffalo Bills cover a 7-point spread here as the Buffalo Bills look to again move above the Steelers for that number 2 seed. I would love to see the Buffalo Bills take control of this game early, and by the time I leave you at halftime, I hope that there is no question on who's winning this football game. But this is the Buffalo Bills' 4th primetime game in a row, and when you think about last week, the emotion that came with last week, I shared it here on Believers Talk when I did live play-by-play and reaction when we clinched the division title, but the emotion went beyond me. You heard Josh Allen in the locker room. You heard Coach McDermott tear up in the locker room in his post-game press conference. Let's try not to have a letdown game. That's very scary for me, is the Buffalo Bills having a letdown game. The Bills have won 7 of their last 8 games. Let's keep that momentum rolling heading into the playoffs so that way we can stay on fire, stay on task, and make sure that we do our best to secure that number 2 overall seed. We're guaranteed a playoff spot. We're guaranteed one home playoff game. But let's go a little bit further. And listen, if the Bills lose their next 2 games, I don't want them to, right? But let's say the Bills lose their next 2 games. We still accomplished what we meant to accomplish this season, which was an AFC East title, at least for the regular season. Like I said at the beginning of the season, I want to see an AFC East title and a playoff victory at home. And we already clinched the 1. We have to wait for the playoffs for a second. So worst case scenario, the Bills lose the next 2 games. Let's not let it carry over into the postseason. However, losing 2 in a row heading into the postseason is not the way you want to enter the postseason. So let's scratch that idea. Let's win our next 2. We have this one in New England, and then Tua comes up north to Buffalo as we close out the season at home to play the Miami Dolphins, who are going to be playing for something. And if the Buffalo Bills win tonight, they're going to be playing for something too, that number 2 overall seed. So definitely some things still on line for the Buffalo Bills. We want to talk about Josh Allen. Like I said, Josh Allen's been hot lately, right? We remember him against the 49ers. Remember him against the Steelers, looked really good. But you still have to be concerned about those turnovers. He is still turning the ball over, in my opinion, a little bit too much. He did throw an interception in the game against New England the first time they played. I don't want to see that happen. In fact, his QBR was 65.5 in that game against the New England Patriots. Obviously, want to see him do a little bit better. And again, with no Stephon Gilmore, obviously there's going to be opportunities for him to do better in this game. He did have a rushing touchdown in that game, and the running game is something that I want to see get going again. Now, listen, I have been on the record as saying, unlike Rico from Buffalo Fanatics, who has been very boisterous about his feelings on this subject, I just don't feel like we have anything to worry about when it comes to our running a game, right? I think that we have shown in times that this running attack can be very dangerous. Listen, against the Steelers, we had a 7-minute drive mostly led by Zach Moss. When you talk about this New England Patriots team, we ran for over 230 yards against them the first time we played them. You look at the LA Chargers game, we ran the ball pretty well against them. You look at the game last week, we ran the ball pretty well at the end of that game too. So plenty of times we ran the ball pretty effectively. Denver, again, the game against Denver, Singletary, everyone knew the ball was going to Singletary, still busted a 50-plus yarder for a touchdown. So I know that some people have concerns about this running game, but when we've needed it, it's come through. And so I have no concerns about this running attack. I think, again, that Brian Daboll is holding off on that running attack for the playoffs, not showing his full hand until we get to the playoffs, because we know we need a running game when we get to playoff time, okay? Good defense and a running attack is how we're going to win in the playoffs. Now, one thing about the game in Week 8 that I want to see different this week is time of possession. In Week 8 against this Patriots team, time of possession was pretty much 50-50. We both had the ball. I think the Bills had it for a little bit less, at 29-31, something like that, but both had the ball for just about 30 minutes, a full 50% of the game. I want to see the Buffalo Bills control that clock for a good 60% of the game. I'm talking about 35, 40-minute time possession compared to what New England would have. I want to see us completely dominate this game in every facet, special teams, special teams, offense, and defense. That's what I want to see out of this team. Josh Allen, limit your mistakes, control the tempo, do what you've been doing the last couple of weeks. Again, the Bills have won 7 of the last 8. They're on fire. Let's keep it going tonight. I don't want to see a letdown. We've had that extra day of rest, right? Because we played on Saturday last week. So we had Sunday and now we play on Monday. So basically we've had extra 2 days of rest getting ready for this game. Hopefully the rest shows and we are able to get that victory. If we get that victory, like I said, we move above the Pittsburgh Steelers for that number 2 overall seed. Obviously we can't catch the Chiefs. Chiefs have clinched that number 1 seed with their win yesterday over the Atlanta Falcons, but they looked beatable. Every single team yesterday in the AFC looked beatable. The Pittsburgh Steelers did a great job coming back against the Colts, but look at that first half. It definitely looked beatable. You look at the Indianapolis Colts, look good in the first half, look at the second half. We could beat that team. Cleveland losing to the Jets. Miami on Saturday barely beating the Las Vegas Raiders. In fact, some would argue the Raiders beat themselves. However, there was a pass interference call that was a little shady that got the Raiders into field goal range on the one end of that too. So it goes both ways. It goes either way. But you look at you go down the list of playoff teams other than the Baltimore Ravens. Everyone looks pretty beatable at this time, and we've seen the Ravens struggle as well. So I'm very excited about the playoff push for the Buffalo Bills. I hope that you are too. I want to go in winning 9 of 10 going into the playoffs. That would be pretty remarkable, and we would be on fire. I don't want to see us lose the remainder of these 2 games, but again, I have a sneaky suspicion there might be a little bit of letdown in this game. Hopefully the result still favors the Bills. Don't know if we're going to cover that 7-point spread, but we'll see what happens tonight. And like I said, join me as we go live for the first half of this game between the Buffalo Bills and the New England Patriots, so I give you live play-by-play and reaction to this game. I look forward to seeing you all then. Again, let me know in the comment section what are your keys to victory for tonight's game. I'll talk to you all tonight. Until I do, go Bills.